Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, and let's jump into tidbits. We've got three big stories to cover. One that is an improvement for Miles, one that is cautionary, and we'll do a little bit of theoretical, and one that is purely theoretical because the company hasn't announced damn near anything. And I can't believe I'm going to be defending this company from the doomsayers that you've been seeing today. So let's jump into things with the improvement story. We're going to go to Danny the Deal Guru, and Flying Blue improves mileage expiration policy. So the Flying Blue program, this is KLM Air France, is making a positive change. A new and simpler mileage expiration policy will go into effect May 4th of 2026. After that date, all your miles will have one expiration date, and any activity will extend the expiration date by 24 months. Here's the email that was sent out, and I have a copy of this email myself. I probably could have just used the copy of the email. C'est la vie. We listen to your feedback and simplify the way your miles work. Having multiple expiration dates based on activity type, flight, or commercial is confusing. So we're making it simpler. From May 4th, every qualifying activity, such as booking a flight, reserving a hotel, renting a car, or shopping with a partner, will refresh your entire balance and extend the validity of your miles to 24 months. No more tracking multiple expiration dates, no more unexpected miles expiring, just one simple and transparent rule that puts you in control. And yes, this new validity rule also applies to miles you earned before. This means that if your balance previously had different expiration dates, the most favorable will be applied, giving all your miles the longest possible validity. Existing balances will be automatically updated. One rule, one balance, all miles share the same 24-month validity. Flying Blue miles do not expire for Elite and Elite Plus members who subscribe to Flying Blue Extra, or holders of a co-branded credit card, and or members under 18 years or older. Under 18 years old and older. Has to be under 18 years and younger. Anyway, while no expiration would have been better, this is a good move and makes the program simpler. All miles earned before May 4th, 2026 will follow the new rule, and existing balances will be merged at implementation, applying the most favorable expiration date. Then any eligible activity from that date will extend the entire balance by 24 months. Hey, look, your Wells Fargo points got even more valuable because you can send over 1 point to kick the can down the road another 24 months. Good for you. Good for Flying Blue. Now let's go into a bit of the murky. American Express temporarily suspends transfers to ANA Mileage Club through March 2nd. This is most likely, just maintenance on the back end, but who knows? If you were planning to move American Express membership reward points to ANA Mileage Club this week, you may want to hit pause. Transfers between the two programs are temporarily unavailable, though the outage is expected to be brief, and service should be restored by the evening of March 2nd, 2026. Here's what you need to know. Amex transfer to ANA on hold for scheduled maintenance. As first reported by Award Wallet, American Express has temporarily disabled point transfers to ANA Mileage Club due to scheduled system updates. The pause began on February 25th at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Hilarious. And expected to last until March 2nd at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Again, hilarious. During this window, membership reward points cannot be transferred to ANA, either online or by phone. The restriction appears to be tied to planned maintenance, and Amex has indicated that transfers should resume once this work is complete by the evening of March 2nd. Here's the little descriptor window. Anytime a transfer partner briefly disappears from AmexTravel.com, it's worth a closer look, especially since recent pauses have not always been harmless. We've seen program relationships like transfers from Chase and Amex to Emirates Skywards be paused, and later Chase was ultimately removed as a transfer partner altogether, and Amex later reduced its transfer ratio to Emirates from 1-to-1 to 5-to-4. If ANA miles are part of your game plan, and maybe for that business class flight to Japan or one of ANA's well-known sweet spots, this is a good reminder not to wait until the very last minute to transfer points when you find award spaces you like. For now, we're hopeful this is simply routine maintenance and nothing more serious, like a devaluation or worse, and no longer being a transfer partner. That said, we're not going to jump to conclusions. We'll wait and see how things look once transfers are restored. Final thoughts: doesn't appear to be a long-term change, but rather just a brief planned maintenance. Still, it's a good reminder that transfer partners aren't always instantly available. If you're planning a one-time sensitive redemption, it's always smart to double-check availability and confirm transfers are even possible before looking in your plans. So again, most likely this is just planned maintenance. However, It wouldn't surprise me if this is more than just planned maintenance. Now, I don't think ANA is going to be dropped altogether. I don't think that's going to be the case. I do think that if there was going to be a redemption change in terms of what the point transfers are, you would probably see it just be it would have already been announced. Maybe they announce it Monday morning before they resume transfers Monday evening. That's a really tight turnaround and not something we've seen before. So most likely, again, this is likely going to stay 1-to-1. This is just planned maintenance. But because this is Amex, I can't definitively say, yeah, that's going to be the case. If ANA is a big transfer partner for you for your American Express membership reward points, definitely be on the lookout for that on Monday evening. Maybe it changes, probably doesn't, but maybe. We'll see. Anyway, and then our last story takes us over to Doctor of Credit. We're going to go to Doctor of Credit. It's been spreading on some other pages, but Doctor of Credit is the most even keeled on this one with what they're showing. So is Capital One moving their credit cards to Discover Network, Venture, Quicksilver, Saver? People noticed today that Capital One now has official PDF benefits guides for their Venture, Saver, and Quicksilver cards using the Discover Network. It appears in the benefits page that the bank might be moving over their Venture, Saver, and Quicksilver cards to the Discover Network, as well as the Venture One, Saver One, and Quicksilver One. Currently, these cards run on the MasterCard payment network. Note the Venture X consumer card is not specifically mentioned on that page at all. This comes after the merging of Capital One and Discover and the issuance of all Capital One debit cards as Discover cards. For now, nothing has changed, but it's a bellwether to Capital One shifting their cards over to the Discover Network, possibly soon. The same page still shows the Capital One business cards, including Spark and Venture, and their co-brand cards as MasterCards. So apparently they don't have any plans to move those over to the Discover Network soon. Capital One hasn't said anything. When the Discover merger happened, a lot of folks were asking whether or not they were going to move their cards over to the Discover Network. And I think the most rational thought at the time was, yes, they will in time. This merger closed last year. Jumping this quickly to throw Venture One, Venture, Saver One, Quicksilver One, all of those cards into the Discover Network, I don't know if this is a definitive. I know that they have been renegotiating and negotiating with MasterCard, probably keeping some of those cards, or at least the co-brands, in the MasterCard network. So it's going to be interesting to see how they operate with this. Now, I think it's too quick to say, oh no, all your rewards are ruined. One, no, they're not. Two, how badly does this affect things? We don't know until they do it, right? Yes, Discover is not as received internationally as, say, even American Express, which is a closed loop system, or Visa or MasterCard. Do I think that this is far too early for Capital One to be trying to move these things over to that network? Yes. Do I think that they would be doing it in the next 5 years anyway? Probably. I think we have to separate a couple of things out here. We don't know with Capital One does things interestingly, we'll say. So first and foremost, Capital One has all different flavors of their credit cards, right? We know this. There's the Venture X, the Venture One, the Venture One for good credit, the Saver One, the Saver One for good credit or fair credit. And they've got the, Quicksilver One for good or fair credit as well. They've got I think they still issue the Platinum card. So it's interesting that the Platinum card's not being mentioned here as a card for good credit. They're not moving the business cards as of yet. They're not moving their co-branded cards. So we're not even going to worry about those. This is probably a move, and the move that makes the most sense for Capital One when they're going to start this transition, because let's face it, they're eventually going to do this transition, would be to move the cards that are going to be for good credit, for fair credit, the ones that have the $39 annual fee attached to them. So we're talking Quicksilver One, Saver One, and the Venture One, moving all of those cards over to Discover makes a fair amount of sense. It also makes a fair amount of sense for the Quicksilver One, Saver One, Venture One for excellent credit, the ones that you can get welcome offers on, moving those over to Discover. It doesn't make sense to move Saver or Venture at this moment because they can still be a really good international travel carrying setup. And you can pair the Saver and the Venture X, obviously, for the vaunted Capital One duo. I don't think the top cards in the lineups are going to be moving anytime soon. It makes a certain amount of sense because somebody who's going to get the Venture One, somebody who's going to get the Quicksilver, somebody who's going to get the Saver and the 4 good credit or 4 fair credit versions of those cards, they're not looking at international travel. That is a big section of their clientele that they can move into the Discover payment processing network, start keeping all of those interchange fees themselves to start subsidizing the rest of the build out of that network to then go elsewhere and to start building out other things that they can do, creating a better concierge, giving you travel better and stronger travel protections, because the travel protections that are mentioned in those guides are laughable. So this is probably the start of that, and I wouldn't be ringing the bells. I don't think it's prudent to ring the bells right now of, oh my god, your rewards are going away. No, or oh my god, this is going to ruin your international capability with your Saver card, and your Venture X isn't being touched. Saver is probably not being touched. And Capital One has given no guidance on this whatsoever. You just saw PDFs and jumped to the worst possible conclusion. Me, Mr. Speculation doofus, is telling you guys to chill the plug out. I feel weird doing that. I'm the idiot who did a fake Hyatt rumor. I'm the idiot who followed up with the actual stuff coming down from Hyatt. Chill. Capital One hasn't said anything. What is most likely going to happen? Now, this is me speculating here. What is most likely going to happen is the 4 good credit, 4 fair credit, the lowest tier ones, the ones that come with the $39 annual fee, the ones that, people hold without particularly strong credit or a strong interest in traveling, which is quite a bit of Capital One's user base. Those are probably going to Discover sooner than later. And those folks using their Discover cards, how they're going to use their Discover cards, are going to be the folks who are going to be the linchpin of building out the payment network for Capital One, like generating that money for you, traveled person, to benefit the fruits of their spending. Let's wait for Capital One to announce what's happening. You saw PDF, you jump into conclusions. Relax. Anyway, that's going to do it for Tidbits today. Hopefully, these 3 stories are all we have to worry about today. But thanks so much for watching. Check out StackYourPoints.com for the Stack Your Points podcast. I co-host that with RJ from 2 Minutes, Points, and Miles, Call Me Lonnie from the Call Me Lonnie YouTube channel, Craig, Tariq. We have a fun time. We do a separate live on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m., so be sure to check that out. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.